So I was recently asked on one of my videos how I cope with losing rats, and I thought this would be a good video to make rather than just to respond it into a comment because I think this is something that many people could benefit from hearing. And I think there's a couple of things that have helped me be resilient to the loss. And that's not to say they don't hurt, and that's not to say that I'm happy or that I'm okay when it happens, but there are definitely some things that I believe help me, and I see people in implementing variations of these things and it helps them. So the first thing is the outlook. I personally believe the outlook that you have on keeping rats as a whole really does affect how you manage the loss. And for me, having the outlook that these rats are here with me for 2 years, anything more than that is wonderful, and we may not even get those 2 years, that those rats are here with me for a very short amount of time. And because of that, I have to make the most of the time that they have with me, that I do that. I give them the very best care I possibly can. I give them the attention if they want it. I just give my all to my rats. And so I know that when they've gone, if they've gone and they're old, that's amazing. I know they've lived a long, happy life. If they die and they're slightly younger, I know they've still had a happy life, that I've not let them have any bad days. And that is part of what keeps me going. That I know my rats get very good care, but I also know they're not going to be around forever and that you do need to make the most of the time that they're here. The other part of that is I think I'm very accepting of death in general. I really don't believe that death is like the worst thing that could happen. I think there are various things that are worse than death. And me, I don't believe death is the worst thing. And so personally, I feel sad when my rats are dead. Obviously, I feel grief. But for me, the the insane amount of anxiety when they're sick is far, far, far worse than the grief when they're gone, because I know that they lived a happy life and now that they're at peace. So I don't, as much as I miss them and I miss the routine of them, that doesn't upset me as much. And then the other thing that I think really helps is the fact that I have the other rats to take care of. And this is why I am a huge proponent of the rolling group method of keeping rats, as some people call it, because it really does allow you to have that cycle and then to sort of be refreshed, I guess. That if you have a nice span of ages in your group and you maybe lose a couple of them every couple of months, it's just not as hard as having a big group of 8 who are all the same age and then losing them all at once. That is really hard. And I think having those younger rats and the prospect of new rats in the future really does keep you going and helps you to see the beauty of the full cycle of life. And now that I've been keeping rats for 5 years and I've lost over 30 of them, I really do believe this, that having seen the full life cycle, having seen, just how wonderful their life is and how much they enjoy living, them dying doesn't, as much as I miss them and it hurts me, I know it doesn't hurt them, and that gives me comfort. And then the last thing that I would like to mention is that a lot of people benefit from finding a ritual to deal with the grief that helps them. So some people think about the rainbow bridge. There's not really something that I believe in, but people do talk about it and believe in the rainbow bridge. If you don't know what the rainbow bridge is, it's, just this belief of where pets go when they die. Other people may have a religion that will help them. So whether that's Christianity, Islam, Judaism, whatever, about what happens after death, that can help. Personally, I find the ritual of sort of sitting with them after they're gone with their body for a while, that helps me. And also knowing, what I'm going to do with that body. So for me, I store them in the freezer until I'm ready and I know what feels right to do with each individual rat, because I do feel that sometimes it's different. I've You can see them here. I've cleaned some bones. I have some buried. I've had one cremated, but that's just not for me. That was out of necessity in that situation. So that's something to think about as well, is how do you best deal with the grief? Know what your routine ritual is. A lot of people like cremation. It's just not my cup of tea, but a lot of people find comfort in that. So find what your sort of ritual for when they're gone is, and that's really helpful too. And also, just to finish this video, let yourself feel. It is okay to be upset. It is upsetting to lose pets, and I don't want this video to come across like I'm trying to downplay how the grief feels, because it's not nice. It is really hard, but once you get into a routine and, in my opinion, you accept that death comes after life, it's not as hard to deal with. And don't get me wrong, there's times where I sit and cry about rats that have died last year, 3 years ago. That happens. But on the day to day, I'm not sort of bogged down by the death, because death is a part of life. And that's it. I know I'm laughing, but it's because I feel a bit awkward about this, repeating myself and stuff. But yeah, that's how I cope with death. I hope this helps, and I hope you find something that works for you, because grief and the whole process is different for everyone.